Hello. Welcome to Alchemy. My name is Mary. If you've watched me before, welcome back. It has been a very long time. I'm not going to give any explanation in this video as to what's happened to this channel. I just wanted to do a reading, but hopefully sometime this year I will make a more formal video explaining where I've been and my plans for this place. But for right now, I just wanted to do a reading because I kind of just need one for myself, and I thought I would do one for the collective, whoever wants to watch this. So buckle in. It's not a pick a card. This is just going to be one collective reading with some healing intention. Okay? So I already cleansed the space, cleansed the cards, and the theme that we're going to be working with is what I'm calling transmuting the end of the year rot. Okay? So I don't know if you guys experience this towards the end of the year where you kind of start to fall into a little bit of depression, or just like start getting really existential about your life and the things you've accomplished, and you feel all this pressure to like change your life for the new year, or maybe you just feel really, really tired because it's also winter and you don't have a lot of sunlight, and so it's just like you kind of feel like you're in this liminal space and time doesn't really exist, and it just kind of feels like you're rotting a little bit. Am I the only one who experiences that? I hope I'm not. So that's what this is going to be. It's going to be about how to transmute that rot into something new. So to go with that theme, we're using two decks that probably could not be more different from each other. They're both decks that I got for Christmas. One was unexpected. My brother picked this out for me. It is the Garbage Pail Kids Tarot. I don't know if you're familiar, but Garbage Pail Kids are like a parody of the Cabbage Patch Kids, which were like these dolls that looked really chubby, and they supposedly like came from cabbages. So yeah, anyway, it's very very much reminiscent of the things my brother likes, and it's kind of a nice blend of our interests, so I appreciate that. And then the one that I picked out for myself that was still given to me was this Wild Unknown Alchemy deck by Kim Kranz. So I feel like this is perfect for this theme because we have the rot and we have the where is it? The transmutation of the rot. So the alchemy and the garbage pail. The garbage. So yeah, so we're just gonna get into it. I'm gonna draw 3 cards, 6 cards, 3 of each deck. That's just kind of gonna be like where we've been, where we're at, and where we're going. Okay? And we can think of it for like, you know, in terms of the year. So yeah, I'm gonna shuffle these first, actually. Also, I hope you don't mind this kind of creepy lighting. I just was having a bit of a battle with my lamp, and I just decided to go with it like this. So that's what we're doing. So please give us a message to transmute the end of the year rot vibes to understand with clarity and compassion what has been going on this year and what we can do in the space we're in now, and what can prepare us for the year to come. Okay, 1, 2, okay, 3. Okay. And we're gonna draw 3 of the alchemy cards. So again, please give us a message so we can understand with clarity and compassion what has the energy. Ooh, that really flew out. Okay. The energy that has transpired this year and the energy that is coming. Sure, we'll go with that. Okay. Do you want to come out? Okay, yeah, you do. Okay. Okay, I'm excited. I have like barely looked at either of these decks, so this is going to be kind of blind for me. I haven't really done any reading on the alchemy deck either, so I'm not going to be super knowledgeable. I'm pretty much just going to read the description, so hope you're okay with that. Okay, let's look at these. Okay, I think I'm going to turn them over like one at a time. So we have the 5 of Cups. Very interesting art style here. Ooh, very interesting because there's a bridge, and I just watched the Bridge to Terabithia like an hour ago, and I was thinking about bridges. So that's very interesting. Okay, and the alchemy card that we got is Mortification. Ooh, okay. That's what it looks like. Ooh, this is a good thumbnail. Okay. Okay, well, let's just try to find it. I'm not very good with Roman numerals, so this might take me a minute. So bear with me because I'm not going to edit this. Okay. LXVIII. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is like one of the last cards. Okay. Decay. What are we talking about? Decay, death, decomposition. Bitch. Am I psychic or what? Mortifactio is the great alchemical operation of darkness. What was once composed now decomposes. What was once presentable is now despicable. This stage cannot be avoided. The underworld has taken us into the dark interior of its belly, and here we reside until spring. Through the natural process of decay, we descend into depths we didn't know existed. The alchemist soon finds Mortifactio is a stage of regeneration and sacred power, where the soil is fertile and rich, offering nourishment for tomorrow. This stage cannot be rushed. The darkness must have time to do its work, to dismantle and to loosen, to free us from old scripts and stories. As we learn to surrender to this great operation, the earth churns, and wisdom whispers in the dark. She envelopes us with grace and the promise of what's to come. Go deeper, read the Egyptian story of Osiris. To ponder, is there anything that does not end? Halloween is a global celebration of Mortifactio and the underworld. If this card has got you down, flip the script. There is freedom and expression in every operation. The Mortifactio card relates to the Death card in the Tarot and the Underworld card in the Archetypes deck. It is a universal symbol, not to be taken personally. So, girl, what was I just saying? What the fuck was I just saying? About rot. So, what has happened this year? There has been some necessary endings, okay? The Five of Cups, yeah, dude, Five of Cups talks about loss, right? These cups are falling down this river. I literally just watched The Bridge of Terabithia. This is blowing my mind. Okay. It might seem weird that I'm connecting this card to The Bridge of Terabithia, but I don't think it's that weird, because there's a bridge over a river. Whatever. I'm going with it. Anyway, yeah, so I feel like there was something this past year, right? I feel like this was a kind of a bridge year. Okay? What does that mean? It means I feel like, I know I can speak from my personal experience, hopefully this is relatable for those watching. I feel like 2021 was an ending to a lot of things, a lot of cycles in my life personally, and I know in a lot of people around me's lives. 2021 was where a lot of things came to an end. Okay, for me personally, I graduated college. I got my first full-time job. I ended a lot of relationships, friendships. I changed a lot of my relationship to spirituality. I just experienced a lot of endings, right? And I feel like, through those endings, there was a desire for this whole new life, right? I know in 2020 and even before then, I have been envisioning, a future that is what my dreams are made of, right? And 2020 felt like the breaking point of sort of the climax of shit has to change. 2021 was the ending of a lot of the shit that had to change. And then 2022 kind of felt like this in between where it's okay, I don't really know what I'm going into. Do you know what I mean? It's there has been an end, but I don't know what the new thing is. And I know from personal experience, again, hopefully this is relatable, that there was a lot of things that felt like disappointments because I was looking for that next thing, right? Looking for that new beginning, but not really having a real sense of clarity on what that new beginning is, and kind of feeling stuck or feeling like you're in this limbo. 2022 was year of limbo for me personally. I hope that that's relatable for those watching. I'm just gonna assume that it is, because this is a collective reading. So if you felt like you were in this kind of in-between stage, I feel like this card is saying that that was necessary, and that this year has actually been a bridge for us to kind of process everything that ended the previous year and kind of figure out where the fuck we're going. Because I know I did not really know where the fuck I was going. I thought that I knew, but I didn't know, because the bridge also has cracks in it. So maybe you had thought that you had already built a bridge somewhere, but then you realized that the bridge wasn't really that sturdy, and maybe it's not really taking you where you want to go, so you needed time to really, like, you know, fix the bridge and really, like, analyze if this is the right bridge for you. Does that make sense? And yeah, you might have had to let some things go, but you also kept some things. And maybe you kept some things you didn't expect you would keep. Maybe you stayed in a place longer than you thought you would stay. You stayed at a job longer than you thought you would stay, or in a relationship longer than you thought you would stay. Maybe there were things that you thought you were going to give up that you ended up not giving up. And maybe you think, well, maybe I should have given them up. But maybe you find that it was actually the right decision because you actually found value in those things, you know? So whatever happened, there was things that were lost and things that were kept, and you might feel like there was some regret, like maybe I shouldn't have lost those things and I shouldn't have kept this thing. Maybe I shouldn't have taken this new job. I should have kept the old one, or I should have not kept the old one, or like there's some feelings of like regret or whatever for relationships, opportunities, things that you did and didn't do. Okay. But I think this card is asking you to just accept the way that the cookie crumbled, and see that whatever happened, you gained something from it. And it's taking you in a new direction. And everything that was not meant to carry you further is decomposing. And the decomposing part might feel a lot like stagnancy. It might feel a lot like being stuck or decaying, or just like, you know, the opposite. It might feel like you're regressing, even like I'm not making progress like I should have been, right? But this is just part of the decomposition process, and it's not fast, right? I mean, I don't really know the speed at which things decompose, but like it's not instant, right? So it's okay if it's taken you a while. It's okay if you had to take this year to process a lot of the shit that happened in the past year, or the past 2 years, or the past 3 years, because let's be honest, it's been a fucking crazy decade, okay? Like, I feel like we need 3 years just to process what happened in 2020. So like, if you spent 2022 still kind of processing what happened in 2020, that was me, that's okay. Because that's kind of still needed to happen. Like, we're like, the in-between stage is part of the necessary rot, the necessary decay, in order to figure out what new thing we're going to create, okay? So I feel like this year was a bridge year. It was a bridge year, whatever that means to you. So let's look at the second card. This is kind of where we're at now, you know, what are the choices and situations we're facing now as we're in this in-between stage, between years. Okay. Cute. We have the 10 of Cups. Okay, so this is a very celebratory card. They look like they're farting rainbows. They're farting rainbows. Cute. Okay. Well, you could look you could look at that metaphorically, because you know, like when you excrete, this is so gross, I'm sorry, but when you excrete gas, right, it's also part of the decomposition process that's happening in your gut, right? And maybe it emits a foul odor as decomposition can emit a foul odor, right? But maybe we can have a bit of revelry and enjoyment of the process of that decomposition. So I'm not saying that you should enjoy your farts, but I'm just saying, metaphorically speaking, you can enjoy, find a way to enjoy the process of this decomposition that we're going through. And then the next card looks like a disco ball. It is Pneuma, breath. Sorry, okay. Okay, where's the thing? Okay. XXXVI, what the hell is that? Okay. Okay. Breath. Inspiration, presence, life force. There is no more direct way to practice alchemy than to study pneuma. We all have access to the mystical phenomenon known as the breath. It occurs at every moment, gracing us with the gift of existence. Gracing us with the gift of existence upon the physical plane. If alchemy, as is suggested in this book, is the merging of physical and mystical, then this card serves as our ever-reliant bridge, bitch! It is the magical within us, the expanding and generating life force that animates our life. This card may appear simple, but it is not. No matter how advanced you are in studying the breath, if you heed the message of this card, you will find it has more to teach. Bow to it at this very moment, and you will discover the work revitalizes itself. New space opens. Pneuma is your lifelong alchemical ally, stating its love with every inhale and exhale. Go deeper. Take one deep, full breath. All right, let's do that. To ponder the first breath. I guess that means think about the first breath. I don't really know what that means, but okay. It is no coincidence that nearly every spiritual and mystical lineage bows to the breath via observation of it, meditation, breath techniques, pranayama, or chanting or song. When the Pneuma card appears, it is a call to make room to expand and soften the approach to the work. The other cards present in the reading may benefit from more spaciousness, too. Okay. Girl! What was I saying about fucking bridges, dude? Oh my god. Like the synchronicity. And this is not just from today. Like, I have been thinking about bridges for the past few days. I was analyzing some themes in one of my favorite book series, and I was talking about bridges in that series too. So it's just like the synchronicities are clicking, dude. So breath as a bridge between the physical and the metaphysical. That's very interesting. I think the message of this card, along with this card, like I was saying, is to find a way to open up and make space for the unpleasant and unsightly, and like to just make room, you know? I feel like that's what is being asked. Like I was saying with that weird ass metaphor about farting rainbows. Like, you know, if you're gonna be going through this kind of gross, unsightly process of decomposition, and you're gonna be a little bit foul, you might as well make some rainbows out of it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you might as well add a little bit of humor, and try to have fun with it. Like I said, this also looks like a disco ball. So just like, you know, party in, have a party in your state of rot. You know what I mean? And maybe pay attention to how you're breathing as we're, you know, starting the new year. Are you like breathing very shallowly? You know, when you feel the emotions of the past year come up, when you feel the heaviness of all of this decomposition, when you feel the heaviness of all of this death and decay, and you kind of start to repress it, and you know, to me, like, okay, I feel rot as a state of being the most when I have a lot of emotions that I feel like are kind of weighing on me, like this pressure, and I like don't let myself feel them. And so then it just feels like they're eating away inside me, and I feel like I can't really do anything. Like it doesn't really feel like I can move because it's just so much like eating away at the inside, if that makes sense. So I feel like this card is asking you to breathe and to create some space and some movement in a very gentle way, to not force movement, but to breathe movement. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like you go from like not doing anything to like erratically changing everything in your life. You know what I mean? It's more like you take a moment and you breathe in all of the shit that's around you. You know, the pleasant, the unpleasant, all of it. You just take it in. You just take it in for what it is, and you let it out. You exhale. So if there's anything that you've been emotionally constipated, you know, again with the fucking farting, like if there's anything that you've been keeping in that you need to let out, let it out. Let it out, girl. Let it out. And like make sure that you're exhaling as well as inhaling. You're not forcing yourself to do things, but you're just like adding space and presence to wherever you are, because movement occurs naturally. This cycle of inhale and exhale occurs naturally, but you put yourself in a chokehold when you're trying to force something instead of letting it happen. So like, you know, if you're trying to force yourself to create, let's say you're an artist or a writer or something, totally not using this as a personal example, but like, let's say you're trying to force yourself to create. That's kind of like trying to force yourself to exhale, right? You can't do that if you don't have any air to begin with. So maybe you need to take a fucking breath, breathe something in, breathe in some inspiration, breathe in something that gives you that desire to create, or just breathe in something that rejuvenates you, right? And then breathe out. Or maybe you've been consuming a lot of things, you've been breathing in a lot of inspiration, but you feel kind of constipated creatively, and you feel like you don't want to let anything out because there's emotions that will come out when you do that. Maybe you need to just let it out without also like, you know, again with the chokehold, like if you're like, oh well, yeah, I have a lot of things in me that I want to create, but like I have very specific ideas for what I should be doing. So like I like know that I should be working on this one project, but I can't make myself motivated to do that, but I still feel like I need to create something. It's like, then don't worry about that. Like, just do what feels natural. You know what I mean? So, like, if that's just, like, if you're a writer, if that's just, like, writing some fucking, like, random ass thoughts from your head that don't make any sense, then do that. If you're an artist, if that's doodling a bunch of bullshit that has nothing to do with anything that you were planning on making, then do that. You know what I mean? It's like, stop putting yourself in a chokehold and just let the natural, like, cycles of breathing in and breathing out occur. You know, have some faith that those cycles will happen. Have some faith that your motivation will come back to you. If you feel like you're without motivation right now, that's just part of the cycle. But if you, like, try to force yourself, you're stopping the cycle. So just, like, breathe in and breathe out wherever you are, and the cycle will resume. It's not going anywhere. Your urge to create, your urge to have the life that you want, to make changes and do all the things you want to do, is not going anywhere. If nothing's happening for you right now, it means that maybe it's not meant to happen right now. Maybe right now you're meant to just, like, relax and digest and, like, try to have a good time as you're relaxing and digesting and processing all of these things, okay? So, yeah, maybe also try not to take it quite as seriously. Could be another message of this card, right? Find something to celebrate. Find something to be proud of yourself for. There was a lot that you did this year, I'm sure, that is more than worthy of being proud of, okay? Like, you know, even if you didn't do what you thought you were gonna do, okay? I didn't touch this whole channel for a year, but I still did a lot of stuff, okay? I was in 2 performance art shows. I took a acting class. I had a lot of stuff happen at my job. I made a lot of changes in various areas of my life, and I'm proud of myself for those things. And, you know, it is what it is. Some things didn't work out, and that also is what it is, you know? So, I don't know. I feel like there's this energy, this need to just kind of, like, let some of that, like, absurdity come through, whatever that means, okay? Let's look at the last 2 cards. This is what's to come. We have the 5 of Coins in reverse. Okay, so here's the card upright. Now it's in reverse. I feel like the time of us walking through the cold, begging for a chance, is coming to an end, okay? This card is about walking through the wilderness, begging for someone to have mercy on you, you know, feeling very forlorn and lost and pitiful and just, like, needing a hand, and you're just trekking, you know, trekking through on your own. Except there's actually 2 people here, so maybe you're not on your own. Maybe you thought you were on your own, but you're actually not. Maybe now is the time where you're realizing that all this time you thought you were trekking through on your own, you actually weren't, and there was actually someone there with you. Maybe multiple people. Maybe they're not here with you physically, but they're still there. You know, this could be, you know, if maybe someone you love that's passed on, that's, like, kind of with you spiritually, or it could be, you know, friends across the globe that just aren't, like, in your physical presence but are still with you, you know, or people you haven't even met yet who are walking the same journey as you but you don't even know it yet, or maybe people that are in your physical life but you just never really took the time to appreciate them. But I feel like you're going to come to a realization within this next year that all this time you thought you were walking this trek alone, you actually weren't alone. And this time of walking through the wilderness, begging for handouts, is going to come to an end. Whew, okay. And the card we have, the alchemy card we have, is Leucosis, Lightning. This is not lightning like lightning, but lightening, like the act of something being made lighter, I think. But I like this image because it's like a snake around an egg. It's really cool. But let's look at the definition of this card. Okay, Leucosis, Lightning. Perfectionism, facade, hesitation. The stage of leucosis is a complex topic in alchemy. On the one hand, it represents purification of the materials. On the other hand, it is the phase in which the alchemist may mistake the work as complete. On the surface, everything seems perfect, pristine, well thought through, and quite complete. In actuality, the alchemist has been tricked by their own facade of perfection. Their work has hardly begun. Righteousness and fear are the great errors of leucosis. This card arrives to remind us to get our hands dirty. No one is separate from or above anyone else. Rather, every alchemist is a kid in the laboratory, tinkering away with the elements of their life. No more fretting over your next move, fearing how others will perceive you. It's time to crack open, become who you are. The world needs your true colors. To go deeper, look at the Brancusi sculpture Newborn from 1915. To ponder, the wisdom of dawn. The blank canvas is a great example of leucosis. It's terrifying to start for fear of making a mistake. Today is the day. Make a mark, begin the work. Leucosis is related to the alchemical operation of calcinatio. If these cards appear together, it's a sign that things may have calcified, implying a kind of buildup or rigidity. Interesting. So, I mean, new beginnings, pretty much. A state of purification, right? After this state of decomposition, there is a potential that emerges, right? This pure, raw energy, purification. But that's not the end, right? The purification is only really the beginning. So, yeah, it might feel good to look at the new year as a blank canvas. It might feel good to think about everything you want to do in terms of how you want it to look and in terms of how to make everything just so perfect and give yourself the perfect life and all these goals that you're going to set to try to make that happen. But if you do that, I feel like that's a surefire way to make sure that none of that happens. And I'm not saying setting goals is bad, but if you're doing so because you're trying to control the outcome and make your life look a certain way, right? If you're trying to get to the end of the story where everything is pretty and tied up with a little bow, I feel like you're going to be severely disappointed. I need to sneeze. It's not coming. Never mind. Okay. So maybe embrace a little bit of the inevitable chaos that's going to come from starting over, from actually living life. Living life is not pretty, okay? It's not fucking pretty. No matter what kind of life you live, no matter how much manifesting and meditation you do, no matter how many habits you start and healthy coping strategies you have, no matter how good you get at doing life, you're always gonna crack. You're always gonna break. You're always gonna get your fucking hands dirty. You're always going to end up with mud on your face and blood in your mouth. And that's just how it's gonna fucking be, because life was not made to be lived prettily. Okay? And I feel like some of this walking through the wilderness energy is maybe in part because of this fear of messing up. And it's like, maybe you've been walking in the wilderness, however you want to interpret that. Okay, this could mean chronic loneliness, not having a lot of people in your life, or not having a lot of financial opportunities, you know, always feeling like you're stuck to the same thing, the same pattern in life. I feel like maybe what has kept you in that cycle is the fear of messing up if you are to try anything different, right? The fear of getting dirty. And I feel like we're coming to an end of that. We're coming to an end of this misery. Thank God. But it's an end that's going to come with you deciding that getting your hands dirty is worth it, in whatever way that means to you. If that means getting your hands dirty in terms of things that you want to create, trying something new, stepping out of your comfort zone, trying a new art or a new skill or a new hobby. That could mean deciding to pursue relationships in a way you haven't decided before. That could mean trying to set boundaries in a way that you've never tried to set them before. That could mean moving somewhere new that you've never moved to before. Whatever, right? But the point is that you're coming to terms with the grief that life is never going to be exactly how you envision it. Okay? Didn't really know. Well, let's see where I'm going here. Sometimes when I do these readings, I don't really know what's going to come out of my mouth until I say it. And that was something that just kind of hit me. I was like, oh, okay, where are we going with this? Let's see. So what did I just say? What did I say? The grief. What did I say? Coming to terms with the grief of the fact that life is never going to be exactly how you envision it. Damn, I need to sit with that. Okay. Okay, girl. Okay. Yeah, because there's some genuine sadness and grief in this card. And again, this is in reverse, so I feel like I said this is kind of like the end of this energy, but just to kind of describe it, it's just this disappointment of this isn't how I wanted it to be. I thought I was gonna do something. This was gonna go a different way. I had it all planned out in my head. I was gonna do these things, and I was gonna be this person, and I was gonna wear these clothes, and I was gonna have everyone react to me in this way, and I was gonna change lives in this way, and I was gonna, like, you know, be so on top of it, and I was never gonna have a mistake, and I was, and you have all of these ideas and expectations and dreams and visions or how you want your life to be, and there's always going to be disappointment and grief because you're never going to live perfectly. And that's okay. And I feel like you're going to start to understand that in a different way. Maybe this little guy behind this person could also be representation of that grief that is walking with you. Because I do think that every one of us experiences grief in our lives, and it's something that we just have to kind of like carry with us, you know? And it doesn't have to be an enemy. Maybe the grief is the thing that reminds you to take a chance, that urges you to get your hands dirty, to do the thing that you're a little bit scared to do. Because it reminds you of the things that you lost, and it reminds you that you only have the present moment. This is making me emotional. Because I'm thinking about the bridge to Terabithia again, and like, you know, it really is a beautiful story if you haven't ever watched that movie or read the book. I did read the book years ago, but anyway, you know, like, I don't know, like, to me, it's like that grief of the magic that we felt, that you hopefully felt, you know, in childhood, or just the sense of innocence, the sense of wonder that I think we've all felt at some point in our lives. And, you know, what do you do when you're faced with the loss of that? You know, you can either run from it, you can run from that loss, but by doing so, you're going to run from everything that thing you lost once gave you. Does that make sense? It's like, if you're running from the grief of childhood, you're also running from like all of the parts of childhood that were good, and you're running from the feeling of magic and innocence, and you know, you're running from the good things because you are terrified of feeling the pain of the lack of them. Does that make sense? But if you embrace that pain, you find the same things that you were missing within it. Does that make sense? It's like, you know, if someone you love dies, if you spend all of your energy trying not to think of them, then you're going to feel their loss more. But if you embrace the loss, then you can allow yourself to remember them and feel love for them still. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like grief is kind of this like gift that's like, it's like this box that feels like if you open it, it's just going to be overwhelming and filled with all of this darkness. But if you actually open it and you look inside and you embrace that darkness, then you find the thing that you lost within it. It's just in a different form. Does that make sense? And I feel like because it's in a different form, if you let it, it can change you and encourage you to integrate that thing that you lost into your life in new ways, right? So if it was some part of childhood, some childlike innocence or wonder or magic that you lost, if you embrace those feelings of loss, then you'll get back in touch with those feelings of magic and innocence and etc. But you'll be able to integrate them into your life now because they will have taken on a different form. And I feel like that's, what this is. It's like with the new year, you're going to be hopefully, experiencing a shift in perspective and feeling like this is a fresh slate and like, okay, I'm starting over. But don't fall into the trap of thinking that starting over means that this time you're going to do it right, because you're not. There is no doing it right. There is only doing it and experiencing disappointment and loss and grief, and then you keep doing it because you learn to dance. You learn to dance and party in the foul-smelling gas that you excrete as you decompose and feel the death of things. You also experience the life and the rebirth of things. So I feel like the energy that we're being asked to step into for the new year is to be willing to feel and willing to surrender to the process, the messy process of becoming. I feel like there's an energy of relinquishing control. Yeah, relinquishing control and kind of having faith and allowing yourself to be led and allowing yourself to develop and crack and grow without forcing anything, but just kind of like letting the process unfold without like trying to control it, And wherever you end up, allowing yourself to be there, and remembering that there's no way to get it wrong. Damn. This was a good reading for these garbage pail kids cards, dude. They're kind of deep. Let's look at the bottom of the deck. We have the moon. Light and dark. you know, phases, allowing yourself to go in and out, experience the duality, experience the cycles without fighting them and resisting them. Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's the end of the reading. So I hope that you got something from this. I feel like I did, so again, posing for a thumbnail. Thanks for being here. I hope that you're kind to yourself. I hope that you are soft and gentle with yourself, and I hope that you can have an open and accepting and refreshing start to your new year. Namaste.